Hello everybody and welcome to this segment of Parsha wine pairing here with David, that's me, at Kosherwine.com. So, what do we have? We got this week's Parsha is Parshat Tazria, and in Parshat Tazria it talks about a few things. One of them is the laws pertaining to childbirth and all that ritualistic stuff and good things about, getting through the process. And so, another thing that we're going to do this week is read Parshat Chodesh. Parshat Chodesh talks about some other things, but it's celebrating the new moon, the new year, because according to some people, Nisan's actually, the beginning of the year. And this Shabbos is going to be Rosh Chodesh, so we read Parshat Chodesh. Now, what do those things have in common? Is that they celebrate the beginning of a new cycle. And to match with that and to pair with that, this week we will be drinking the Beaujolais Nouveau. Now, Beaujolais Nouveau is French for new, is actually what celebrates the harvest. This is usually, if I'm not mistaken, probably is the first wine released from the vintage. So 2018 rolls around, the harvest comes in the summer and the fall, and as soon as the grapes are picked, they are crushed, fermented for a bit, and they're bottled and released. So the Beaujolais Nouveau is one of the first, if not the first, wine that's released from that vintage, definitely in Beaujolais it's the first, which is in France. But there's probably no other wines that are really, come to market sooner than that from the vintage. So it's, it's a baby, it's newborn, it's celebrating something new. And the name also has new in it. So that's the connection. Let's go ahead and give this a try. Well, I'm very pre-agafen. So this wine is meant to be a fun wine. It's a young wine. It's easy drinking. I've heard it best described as a banana strawberry smoothie, and it does taste like that. It's not sweet in the sense of like a sweet wine with like added sugar, but because it's young and ripe, it's got a lot of acid, or it's like zingy, and it's got a lot of that fruit flavor. So it's a fun wine to drink. It's smooth. It's delicious, and we're very proud of this wine. This is a wine that we import. A few years ago, the 2016 vintage was the first vintage that we brought in. And at that time, and I don't think even before then, there was ever a Beaujolais Nouveau in the US market. It's available in France because it's right there, but it's a little bit tricky with trying to get it right away, put it on a container, get it over to the US. And with traditional, the way the alcohol business works is that you got to get it imported and go to distributor and get it to the retailer. So that adds a lot of time and a lot of cost, which makes it prohibitive for most people to be able to have this wine. But because we are able to bring it in ourselves and sell it directly to you guys, we cut out a lot of the cost and a lot of the time, and it makes it feasible. So you end up with a delicious wine, great for the 4 cups for Passover, and at a great price. This year, we sold about, it was like 1,000-something bottles before it even got to our warehouse. We did a little pre-sale and we got it right out to you guys. Right now we barely have any left. Usually you're supposed to drink it within a few months of its release. So it gets released in November. It's good for a few months. A lot of people like to drink it by February, by mid-February. They say Valentine's Day is the cutoff time, but this wine is drinking very nice. It's a great vintage, and it will be drinking nicely if you're ordering it for Passover. It's still drinking beautifully. As Joshua London said, this can probably go even after Passover. So it's really a matter of how much of a snob you are and when you want to stop drinking it. But taste-wise, perfect. It's delicious. All right, and I'm sure Ari agrees with me because he's watching. Next week's Parsha, and Ari's going to like this wine a lot more, is Parshat Mitzora. And for that, we will be drinking and tasting and sharing the Tzor Jdein Hills. Tzor has a few different wines, and that's the one we'll be trying next week. So if you have any Tzor wine, that will be good for next week's Parsha. And next week's Parsha is going to be the last one before Pesach. And hopefully I'll be in just as much of a calm mood as I am today, even though this is for show, because there's a lot of stuff going on right now that I have to deal with. But showtime is showtime. So in addition to that, I want you guys to remember that the Passover Mix Cases are available right now. We got a whole bunch of Passover Mix Cases, all great savings. They're all about 20% off. You can save like $50, $70 a case. We have the Herzog Lineage mixed case. That's a fantastic deal. That's like $190, when normally that would be like another, I don't know, $50, $60. So you're saving big there. There's some other cases that I see are very popular right now. A lot of customers are buying the Judea and Samaria mixed cases, which we've created with wines that are just from Judea and Samaria to combat BDS activities, and that's been very supportive of those winemakers there. A lot of good stuff. So just go in there. You don't have to spend a lot of time. One click, add a whole case to your cart. Click a few times, add a few cases. Good stuff. They've all been selected, all wines that I would personally drink, and those go into the mixed cases, and we give you huge savings. So that's fantastic going on right now. Don't forget that at some point we have to cut off the shipping. In other words, in order to make sure that you get your wines on time, we have to give you kind of a deadline and say, get your orders in now or before this date, for us to make sure that you can get it on time. Those deadlines are quickly approaching. The West Coast, the deadline's April 7th. East Coast, the deadline's April 10th. And that's all for guaranteed delivery. And we also have a new program for all you guys that are going to Orlando for Pesach. A lot of people go out there, spend Pesach there. You don't have to worry about wine or where you could find wine there or how to schlep your wine. We could ship it right to your destination. We have a program where you can pick it up from a facility there, so we can ship it. It will be there. You arrive, you take your little trip to the facility, you pick up your wine, and you have it. So a lot of conveniences there. And we'll also be rolling out next week a limited offer of wines from the West Coast that we'll be shipping out there. So for all those people, and we'll release the details next week, but for all those people who couldn't get to ordering on time, and I advise you not to wait, because it's going to be limited wines, not our whole portfolio. There's only a few wines we're putting on the West Coast, but we're going to have some things there for last minute purchases that we can get to you sooner. Otherwise, if you want the full offering, you're going to have to end up paying like expedited shipping, 3-day select, and we offer free shipping. So take advantage of free shipping now so that you don't have to pay extra to get your stuff faster. That's basically the Passover wrap. So you got mixed cases, you got shipping deadlines, you got your Orlando program going on. So for all your wonderful premium services, come to Kosherwine.com and we'll take care of you this Passover. That's it for now. Looking forward to seeing you guys next week, live from Kosherwine.com. This is David, and have a Shabbat Shalom, a good Rosh Chodesh.